My name is Adrian Beaumont. I'm the IT manager for the local Government Ombudsman. We deal with complaints against councils and local authorities, as well as working with adult social care and schools admission appeals. We have approximately 200 employees. Our head office is based in Coventry, and we have sites in London and York. As an organisation, over the last few years, we've faced some significant challenges. We're always very keen to deliver best possible value for public money. We've been keen to introduce things like flexible working, agile working, hot desking, the ability to work from home, for example. And a lot of that requires a very good IT infrastructure that's able to be flexible and to deliver a resilient service. So when we got to the point where we had about a year left on our existing contract before it expired, we decided that we needed to look at changing our network and seeking a new supplier. Given the time pressure that we were under to implement the changes, it was felt that a full tendering process would probably be difficult to achieve in the timescale. One of the things we were very keen to do was to use the G-Cloud framework to procure the services, which meant that we didn't have to go through a very long-winded process. From that, we were then able to come down to a short list of about 4 or 5 suppliers that we knew would be capable of delivering what we wanted, and we invited them to an informal meeting where they could present to us and speak about how their service offered what we needed in order to support the changes that we were making. One of the things we look for when we're looking to work with our suppliers is suppliers that will be able to meet with us regularly and communicate with us effectively and offer the sort of support that an organisation of our size needs. And one of the things that struck me about Fern when we met with them was their ability to meet these criteria. One of the other things that was very important to us was that we didn't want to get locked into a proprietary technology. If we needed to change supplier in the future, we didn't want to be left with a system that was unsupportable. So it was very key for us that Fern were advocates of using open source technology. So once we signed off the project and decided to award the contract to Fern, we were appointed a project manager that worked closely with myself and my team to deliver what we needed. We had regular project meetings, and the work was completed quickly with a minimum of fuss. And I'm very pleased to say that the system was put in to time and to budget, giving us enough time to test it before we cut over from the old system to the new system. And when we did finally make that transition, it was all very seamless and painless. So the solution that Fern provided was mainly in 2 parts. We had a new wide area network implemented using resilient links to provide the reliance of the system that we needed, and then on top of that a hosted PBX, giving us a phone system in the cloud effectively. And that phone system not only had to support staff working out of all 3 offices on traditional phone handsets, but we were very keen that it should also support people working from home using soft phones, so when they're working in an agile manner, they were able to take calls from members of the public and from colleagues, and also make calls. We also had to support our intake team, which is our call centre, and that call centre takes calls from members of the public and other bodies for advice. And obviously one of the requirements for that was to have a full IVR system, call recording and a call queuing, call management system. And Firm were able to provide all those to our specification. So one of the key benefits to us was that we were actually able to save money, not only in the lower cost of the systems and the connections that we were provided with, but even in day-to-day things like provisioning new handsets for new members of staff, making changes quickly, we can do a degree of those ourselves. We have some of the autonomy that we need to do that. Yet we've still got the Fern help desk to rely on if the matter's more complex or something outside of our control. I think the other thing that's important is that no service provider or supplier is ever going to be perfect, but for me the mark of a good supplier is one that can take responsibility and ownership for issues and make changes quickly and communicate well, and that's certainly the experience we've had with Fern to date. We've derived several benefits from the new network. We now have a network that's much more resilient than we've ever had. It's a lot more flexible, it's certainly cost effective, but most importantly that it underpins the changes that we've made to the organisation and continue to help us improve going forward and provide the critical services that we need to provide.